Yo, what is up guys, it is Masso2010 and today we are reacting to a request from Brian Harkin, I believe his name was, his comment is up here, to react to Thanos Deserve to Win Easy Video. Now I don't know if this is a Death Battle debunked episode video, because this was on my Thanos vs Darkseid video, the comments I mean, but it doesn't matter because, you know what, I'm not going to talk about it, we'll just go into it, shall we?
Directors Anthony and Joe Russo
okay, yeah, so this is just about the movie.
Task ahead of them.
It's not about Death Battle, okay,
After
I'm fine.
10 years of anticipation, Thanos couldn't just be a good villain. He had to be the best villain of the MCU.
He was.
This meant he had to do some bad things, which he does. But it goes beyond that. The Russos knew it would take more if they wanted to make him the next Darth Vader. What made Darth Vader so memorable, what makes him one of the greatest villains of all time, is his empathy. It's the facets that make him feel like a hero rather than a villain.
Yeah,
it's the things that make him feel like an underdog. The Russos understand this, and they put all of the things that made Vader great into Thanos. The challenge was evident from the very beginning. Thanos appeared beforehand in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but these appearances were one note: mustache twirling, broad stroke caricatures of a villain. In many ways, these appearances are like
I'll give you that. That's true.
Vader. Imposing, intimidating, but one-dimensional. It was The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi that elevated these excellent foundations into something much more. And so with Infinity War, the Russos had the same challenge. How do you take a character that it seems impossible to look inside and make you see things his way? How can you take a character, show him doing despicable things, and still feel by the end of it all that his victory was the most earned above all else?
You couldn't help but agree with them. You gotta admit that.
Whether or not we can agree with Thanos, there's no doubting that you could watch Infinity War and not come away from it knowing his core beliefs. The Neo-Malthusian ideals he champions seem so sincere, so selfless when he utters them. He doesn't hide his intentions from anyone. More than that, he's prepared to argue for them with such conviction. He can spin his beliefs to sound so benevolent. We see Thanos call his cleansing merciful, yet we see a child panic in fear as they violently cling to existence. We know that what he says is indoctrination, yet whenever he is challenged on his morality, his past experiences can tip the balance in his favour every time.
Yeah, he does feel very messiah, you know, he has like this. That's why he doesn't wear armour, it's like a holy crusade
and
or something.
It's more than just a defence of his belief system. Thanos champions himself too. His confidence shines through in his every action, and he doesn't try to be humble to create a facade. He is who he is, something that could almost seem admirable.
You're strong. Me.
Thanos is strong. He is generous. There's a level of humility to him, yet also so much arrogance. He's unapologetic about the fact that he's the toughest there is.
Yeah, very true again.
If you need to see how wholeheartedly he believes in his ideals, just look at the smile he gives when he's finally alone at the end of the movie. He doesn't ask for thanks, just like a true hero. It's truly good, at least by his own standards. As a wise man once said, to be truly decent, it has to be
Without witness.
Nah, I'll leave it to the doctor.
Without reward.
He sheds his armour because he is a holy man on a peaceful journey, or at least with those intentions in mind. Of course, he breaks that peaceful mantra several times in the movie, but never in a way that seems untrue to his word. He attacks people, he kills, but only when it stands directly in the way of his quest. There's several instances where he can kill characters, and he chooses not to. He subdues all of the Avengers at the end of the movie, rather than killing them. He gets two instances to kill Peter Quill, even after Quill has assaulted him under duress, and he doesn't. These moments can be used to help him justify his darker actions. He is a man of his word, for better or for worse. It's how we know that he does indeed love Gamora before the Red Skull and the Soul Stone confirm as much. It might be an abusive, controlling, destructive love that to many wouldn't be love at all, but to Thanos, he's doing what he thinks is the best way of expressing it. By his own code, a code that he never wavers from. And Thanos doesn't lie. Even Steve Rogers lies, but
True.
Thanos doesn't. And he can't respect anyone who does. Look at the way he treats Tanalia Tavar. He has absolutely no time for him. As we've seen, the Collector is duplicitous, mercenary, without seemingly any thought given to a being that is not himself. And when Thanos confronts him, his cowardice makes Thanos like him even less. Compare that to Peter Quill moments later, who shows all the things that Tavar lacks: courage, will, honesty. And what does Thanos say?
I like you. Now, reality can be whatever.
All the colour changes as well.
That
It's
same
nice.
scene shows us Thanos' intellect. He outthinks and manipulates everyone. He tricks the Guardians into playing their best hand, just as he does with Loki, only revealing his true knowledge of their goals and intentions at the point of which they have no way out. He moves them like pieces on a board until he is in total command of the situation. He casts the illusion of his death, not because he wants to see Gamora cry, but because he knows it is the best way to divide the Guardians.
I thought it was the best way of
to
letting
make
her
them
know she
vulnerable.
still cared about him.
He displays not only a keen tactical mind, but emotional intelligence as well. Could this theatre of illusions be argued as a lie? Maybe. But Thanos never allows his character to be questioned, so neither do you. Incredibly, he still displays a semblance of integrity. He manipulates Peter Quill not by lying to him, but by testing him. Thanos wants Peter to know that if he was in his place, he wouldn't hesitate to do what he promised. He's showing to him that he's better, that he's destined to win.
He was still
without
going.
ever
Peter
having to
Quill
say
was
it.
still going to do it. It's true, he did hesitate, but he was going to do it.
But just because he's often 2 steps ahead of everyone else, it doesn't mean that he never finds himself in a tight spot. Part of why we end up wanting him to win in some sense, even if it's only just a little bit, is because the film frames him as an underdog at key moments. Look at what's going on here. He's being ganged up on by several characters,
Hang on.
aggressively restraining him whilst he cries out in anguish. Suddenly, he's not the malicious figure, despite all that has happened. The Avengers are. They look like bullies.
No, okay, no, I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit on
The
that.
same thing happens when Thor impales him.
Oh, no.
He revels in it. He tortures him. Look at the expression on their faces. If you saw this moment without context, who would the film be communicating
Oh, yeah,
as the
without
hero,
context, but we
and
have
who is the
context.
villain through this
Thanos
imagery?
killed those
Even
people.
seeing him fight and beat the Hulk is something that can feel oddly satisfying. The Hulk is rarely beaten, and never this easily.
Yeah, that's
Thanos
true.
beats him through skill too, something we can again find commendable. Seeing a character display vulnerability, no matter who it is, makes us care. And when they manage to crawl out from an intense situation and against all the odds keep fighting, we can respect that. It makes all of Thanos' triumphs feel that little bit more earned.
I never once saw the Avengers as bullies.
His vulnerability perfectly complements his determination. If we saw him vulnerable too much, we might not be impressed by his efforts. And if he displayed determination without overcoming struggle, we'd want to see him fail. His vulnerability and his determination are perfectly balanced. You get the sense throughout the movie that he is unstoppable through sheer will alone, forgetting any other factor. He will complete his quest no matter what it takes. His speed, his ferocity, it's almost unmatched. He sees determination in others as admirable, even if he disagrees with them. The look he gives Cap when he puts all of his might into stopping the gauntlet. The soothing words he gives to Wanda after witnessing her kill the person she loves, of course something he can empathise with. After his bout with Tony Stark, someone who he saw himself in, and of course, he sees it in the young Gamora. He doesn't think lesser of anyone unless they stand in opposition of his beliefs. He always notices the bravery in others, but always makes sure that he can match whatever they throw at him. He will not be outdone by anyone, and he has the gumption to prove it.
That was a good scene.
We've looked at how other characters lost a lot in this movie. Thor lost his brother, his best friend, half his people. Tony loses his soul after fighting to save it for the last 6 years. Steve loses his Bucky and his Sam. Rocket loses his son. Okoye and the Wakandans lose their king. But Thanos loses something too. It might not be on the same scale, but Gamora is the only thing he has. The only thing he has that's still good in this world. The only part of him that the universe can accept. His creed, his integrity, his cunning, his vulnerability, his determination, it all binds together to concoct a portrait of a living, breathing character. But without Gamora, Thanos would not work. If Darth Vader has a Luke Skywalker, a character to ground him emotionally even if his soul is irredeemable to us, an umbilical cord to let us see behind the mask, then Gamora is surely Thanos' Luke. Just like Darth Vader, Thanos thinks that what he's doing is born out of love. He looks at Gamora and sees everything that he did for her, everything no matter how black it was, in service of trying to make her fend for herself.
Then in doing so, made you the fiercest woman in the galaxy.
No, I made you a champion. Knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes.
The Russos wanted Thanos to do bad things, and he does continuously throughout the movie. But Gamora's death is the pinnacle of this. It's more than just murder. It's more than just villainy and maliciousness. What makes this his worst atrocity is his connection to Gamora, the way in which he very nearly doesn't go through with this terrible deed, but soldiers on anyway. And we can see parallels with this moment. But instead of doing the right thing when the time finally comes, Thanos takes the darkest path. It is the paradoxical nature of this deed that makes it feel so despicable. Wiping out the universe is a statistic, unbiased, random. But this is calculated, destructive, and the purest evil. What makes Infinity War so good is the fact that no one really wins, not without paying the price. And because of all this, Thanos deserved to win. Not in a moral sense, not because he was the kindest or the most assertive or the one that did the right thing. He didn't do any of that. He's an evil man. The movie ultimately makes that clear. He deserved to win because he wanted it more than anyone else. He deserved it because he tried the hardest and was willing to break himself and take the hits and kept moving forward. Thanos was the only one that was aware of who he was. He was aware of his flaws. He didn't wear a mask and hide behind a facade. He didn't rest on hope or put his trust in anyone other than himself. Because of these 6 traits and his rigid adherence to them no matter what the cost, he is the only person in the universe who had the will to carry out the thing he felt he had to do.
Wait, is that it? Okay, no. Hang on. Okay, I agree with most of that. But it's the part where he says Thanos doesn't kill unless he has to. I call bullshit. I mean, he killed practically all of Asgard. Well, he killed half of Asgard. He killed half of Asgard. Oh my god, I just got that. Wait, no, hang on, that doesn't matter. Asgard's already half dead anyway. You don't need to half the dead people. And most of them weren't even Asgardians, they were just on the show. Oh no, yeah, they were. Okay, so he killed half the Asgardians. Did he really have to kill half of them even when they were all dead anyway? Because let's be honest, a lot of them probably died on Asgard when, the big fire guy killed it. But that's not the point. He still killed half of them. He didn't need to. And they were in his way for the Space Stone as much as the Avengers were in his way for the Mind Stone. He still did it. Evil. Hey, you know what, folks? Doesn't matter. If any of you disagree with what I'm saying, leave a comment in below, and I will answer back. We'll have a little debate about it if you disagree. Big thank you to Brian Harkin for linking me this video. Yes, with Master 2010 here. Have a very Merry Christmas. Please like, subscribe, and see ya.